Okay, right, howdy everyone. Right, we're going to do a quick stream. I got the headphones around my neck so that it doesn't hurt my head too much. So I hope it'll come out alright for you. But you may hear a bit of an echo because I have the TV on to save me putting it on my head and causing problems with my neck. Um, I'm going to just show this with it around my neck really, and hopefully you can hear it okay. Right, we're just going to do a little comparison between Elite Dangerous Horizons. This is on Xbox, so this is not the the one that's on PC, which is kind of deserted us on console, which is a real shame. But we are, if you wonder where we are here. So as a simulation, this game is great, but as for playing wise, it's boring. But here's the sun, so that's how close it is. Okay, all right, and we want to head to Europa. I think I'll show you the difference on Starfield, which will be completely different. So so that's where we're going. You can zoom into this, by the way, and do this, and this is what Europa looks like. It's cracked, full of ice cracks and all kinds of stuff. These are stations to to land on, obviously. So you've got this whole view, but you can switch to this one, which is like an orrery view. So you can do where you can see the actual kind of orbit lines and everything. So you can do this as well, but it's probably easier to do this. There's Earth, which we can't land on. We can only do on thin atmospheres. So it's a real shame they haven't been able to progress this. Okay, so I'll just show you. So we're heading towards Mercury. So there's Mercury. Okay, the sun is probably still a long way away, but I had a little go at Starfield. Maybe the sun was too small, but maybe I've got that wrong. So what we'll do is show the difference between the two by coming in at an angle. Well, I'll tell you what, let's come in at this angle, because what I'm trying to do is come in at an angle that I can land. Okay, to show you that we can land from space to here and down and come straight down, and it does a great job of doing this on Elite Dangerous. I'm actually showing this. So fly from space to here. There is a short loading screen. There is a very short loading screen, but it's quite short, so it's kind of acceptable, really. All right. So I'll try and keep an eye on the chat, okay? But we can go, Right, we're now dropping from orbital cruise, so it's a nice big crater there, but you just get this kind of glide bit here, which you're still seeing it land in real time, which is it's a very short kind of loading screen now, especially on Series X. All right, okay, and we have a nice big crater. All right, if I we can put our speed up a bit. Get a lot closer. It tells us our surface is 2.6 kilometers. So hardest bit here is trying to find a decent bit of land to land on. Okay, so as you see, we're getting quite close now to the ground. So I'm going to whip this right back. We're going to slow right down and see if we can actually land on this. Alright, so what you have to do is put your landing gear down. Okay, so let's put the landing gear down. Alright, and then what we do is we gradually try and centralise on here. As you can see, it doesn't always, you've got to get it lined up just right to be able to do it. If you get it slightly out, it will, self-adjust as you're doing it. Hopefully, as long as you've got a nice, it might do this, so if so, line it up again. So it will tell you which direction to push it. If everything goes according to plan, we should be doing that. Okay, alright, and then we can look down here and we can get out of our craft. Okay, but we can't go out on foot because you know, it doesn't allow us to do that. We can kind of look around. So this is my my ship. This is my character, and you know, this is what it looks like. So if I was to say go down here and we go to our scarab, which is our, you know, it's a very short loading screen again, so it's not too bad at all. This is the kind of loading screen I would like. You know, I don't want anything that's slower than this. Okay, and now we're on the surface. Okay, and then we can just move forward gently with the trigger. You can do it so that it maintains that speed if you want. Okay, but I can't get out, unfortunately. So I can't do that now. I can look up. So there's the sun, and yeah, it probably, maybe Starfield has got it right, where it is about that size, because it's still a long way away. So I apologise for I'm going to go at Starfield for that. So obviously it's still a long way away, but it's just it's really big. But you know, this is really cool. The trouble is you can't get out, and the real biggest disappointment is the fact that it only has room in your inventory for 2 things. Oh, sorry, four things. So it's pretty bad on, you know, and exploration in this is really dull, because literally what you're looking for is this scanner here, which is okay, but my god, does it take a long time to get to these places. You know, depending on how big the scanner is, that is how close you are, and you've always got to travel miles. I mean literal miles to find anywhere, and that is the biggest complaint I have with this game, is it takes so long to find something of interest. You know, a mineral or whatever. It's absolutely doggone the worst grind I've ever seen in a game, especially a space one. But you know, these things are very far away, because you know, so you got to drive a long way before you find anything, which is my biggest complaint. Is just the grind is inscrutable. All right, and the biggest one is obviously going to be a ship. But yeah, it takes a long time. But as you can see, there's mountains, hills. You know, there's no kind of planetary map. But you know, there is. You know, if we go to our external system here and go to our surface map, you know, we can see it from space. And you know, I could pick another point. I don't know actually if I can do markers on this. Can I think of it? I've got a feeling I can't. So there's Mercury. So it's kind of a fairly, you know, representative of Mercury. It looks kind of like you'd expect. So you know, not bad at all. Okay, but we want to go to. You can zoom in and out. We want to go to Europa, so let's fly to Europa. So it says unavailable. Oh yeah, because I'm in SRV. So we want to get back in now. You can, if I can remember the button, you can. No, that's not it. There is a way of. I think yeah. If we press this and toggle the camera sweep, we can see it from the outside, which is cool because you know you can do this. So you know, this is quite cool, except for that, of course. You know, it's kind of got weird controls. You know, it's very odd, the controls in this. You know, it's like, you know, they should have just had a third-person camera behind it. But I can see why they did it, because you know, you might want to see it from different angles. You might want to take, you know, photo. You know, although I don't know if it's got photo mode in. But you know, there's me in there, and I can get, you know, fairly close. But you'll literally take a long time to find minerals on every planet you go to. So it's an excruciating grind. Now I can carry on with this, and we can carry on driving even in this third-person mode. So it's not bad. But you know, because you've got to keep switching this stupid camera around, because you know it doesn't necessarily. Yeah, they'll just give us a third-person camera mode and then a photo mode, but unfortunately it's like you got to view it at really strange angles. So what we're going to get back in here. This is our, once those lines become very kind of, all packed together like that into a big, then you know you're getting near to it. But as I say, I always find it takes so long to find minerals that I give up on it. It's just a long, terrible grind, which I absolutely hate grinding games, and when it's overly done, well, I'm not interested anymore. So what you do is you keep going until you get the little thing come up, alright, and then you get the board ship. Okay, so what you do is you press down on this D-pad, you press that, and you go board ship. Now if you've got cargo you can transfer it, but we're going to board the ship, short loading screen, but you can click and see this actually go in. Please do interiors, it's what we're all crying out for. Alright, and then we're back on here, so not too long loading screen there. Okay, at any time you can kind of release this camera. It doesn't give a complete view, but if you play this in VR, it does, and you can look behind as well. We're going to take off, so what we do is you point up, like that. The engine starts up, all three of them, and then we head up, like so. It goes about 90 degrees, like so. So when it flips, that's when to do it. And then we release the landing gear, and we start moving at full pace. Okay, and we can also press boost, and you can put more into the engine if you so require. You can take it off, let's say, systems and put it into that. So, you can do it how you like, which is quite nice. Okay, and we're going to head to Europa, wasn't it? I think I ticked on it, at least I thought I did. Hang on a minute. I think it's because I'm in this menu thing. Oh, hang on. For some reason it's not clicking down to the other part there. I can't hear very much, so I've got the volume turned down, so there's not too much echo for you. But we're kind of heading there. We've got to go to Super Cruise, but we have got hard points retracting. So there's our escape vector. So it's all cool, it's all cool, kind of all real simulation stuff. Alright. So we've now escaped the planet. So if we go to here, I can go to the craft, click it, and then you can turn behind. So as it's not bad at doing this stuff. You can see us. So it's really nice that they've got this, so you can use the triggers to come down. And there's our person sat in the ship there. Which is really good. I really think this is a really nice system, because you really get a sense of the size of these things. And this thing is round, by the way. This is not flat. I mean, it could be, but as far as I can see, it looks. It definitely doesn't look, flat. It looks round. But okay, I'm a little bit rusty with the UI, so hope you'll excuse me on that. Right, and then we're going to head to Europa, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to try and transfer us straight to Starfield. You'll see a short blue screen, and then we'll carry on. Okay, if you've come into chat, I'm trying to keep an eye on it. Alright, so what we do is we head towards this, see the little thing in the, just to the right of the actual little planet kind of thing that's on the console there. You'll see to the right side there's a little circle with a crosshair and a white dot. If it's a black dot, then it means it's behind you. So in other words, if I do this, like so, it would kind of be like an inverted dot. Okay, but we're heading to Europa. Okay, and if you do it gently with the joystick to the left or right, it will turn it. Okay, but if you do any more than that, it does something else, I think. So we're heading towards Europa. So this is the kind of elliptic plane, and these are all as per real life. We do have a complete map of the solar system. So this is a one-to-one recreation, but obviously some have been, added a few things, obviously like bases, but it does take a long time to get to places. Sometimes some of the planets are so far away, it can take you 20, 25 minutes to get there, which is really dull, so you need to speed this up. I know it's a simulation, but come on people, respect our time, don't let us have to do this for half an hour. And I could put my tea on, cook it and start eating it in that time. That's too long. Okay, that is far too long. So we're heading here. We can, if I do this, I'm trying to think how you... Oh yeah, I can do this. So you've also got this as well. Okay, so you can look at it from different angles, which is a really nice touch. And anytime you can click and you can look around this. So this is what the back of the ship looks like. Okay, so you can just kind of zoom in and get an idea. So there's our character. So this is really nice. So what you're trying to do is kind of get in the middle of this sweet spot here. Watch it counting down. If it goes down too quickly, get it to stay around, anything under 10. So here we are. We're coming in on Europa. Okay. Which is, this one here. So, this is the ecliptic plane, of course, and you can, go up or below that. I sometimes do this, so I get it from this angle, so that there's, it easily fits the screen. So down there is Jupiter, but this is Europa. Okay, so let's try and land on Europa, shall we? So, alright, so the sun is on this side, so what we can do is we can sort of come in. So it's not too bad a speed, to be honest, it's not too bad. But it's a fairly accurate representation of what Europa looks like. So it is really nice. Okay, we're coming in. It's got a very low atmosphere. The outside line there is the atmosphere.
Orbital flight engaged.
So you can go into orbital flight. So once you get close enough, you can go into orbital flight. If you go away like this, this is the this will make you travel at the optimal speed, so you can quickly orbit the planet. So you keep it on this kind of point here, and you can very easily spin round to the other side in not too long a time. And you can do that, of course. Whoops, yeah, it's unusual. I haven't got proper controls as in, say, a PC. But, you stay on the 0 bit here, and this will, take you mostly around the planet, so you can get to, say, the sunny side. Alright, so it does this really well. I know, possibly a bit quicker, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. And the closer you are to 0, the quicker it goes. Right, okay, so now that we've done that, let's click back to here, and let's think about getting down to the planet here. Okay, so what we do is we'll get to this sunny side, and we'll start to move down towards the surface. Okay, make sure you keep it in this blue area here, so that it will come in at a nice, if you come in too steep, you will get a red line like this, which means you're going to crash out and possibly be nowhere near your target. There are kind of geological stuff, but you've got to travel for miles to get them. There's very few geological things on each planet, and they are practically the real size that you would expect. So this is the kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a very short loading screen. I'll tell you what, let's go over to there where there's like a crack there, but this is kind of representative of Europa. It's kind of icy moon. Alright, so coming in nice and steady, and again you can go to this outside view, which is really nice. Okay. So the glide is now finished. So that's like, it's a bit like the space shuttle gliding in from space, using that space to, you know, to actually just kind of glide in for a bit, use the atmosphere to slow us down, and then we take over after that. So we can do a boost, especially if I put everything into the boost, but it'll take a long time to do this planet. This is a completely round planet. So, you know, you can see the curve and everything. It takes a long time to travel anywhere, and that's the only downside of this. It takes a long time to travel because these things are true to life. And, you know, it takes me a long time to get there, and I wish they could speed this up. But I suppose, you know, they're kind of hands are tied in that. You know, it's kind of true to life, so it's got to be true to life. But you know, they all allow a little bit of flexibility so that we can fly to places quicker. Because this is too far for me to just head to that little ridge there. So I wish they would at least double or triple the speed on which you can do things in this, especially when you're at full throttle. We should be able to go quicker than this. This is just quite slow. So it does take forever to get anywhere. You know, you see some at a distance, my god, you've got a long way to travel. I mean, you could go back up to orbit again, I suppose, target it and then come back down, so that's a possible one. Right, and then we'll look at it on Starfield and see the difference. So this is from space. From Mercury, so from the surface, taking off, it all seamlessly, going outside, going into into the frameshift drive, doing all that, and then going to Europa using kind of hyperspeed thing, and I'll better slow down now. So I'm probably going too far here. All right, and then we put our landing gear down. Alright, once you get the landing gear down and we are within a certain range, try and turn this so that it's and then start coming down. Okay, and then you get a little surface thing come up, and you know, it's unstable terrain at the moment, so let's go forward a bit. Yeah, it's very iffy on how it does stuff. That's the only trouble with this. If you move slowly, it'll go to the right, so it's I've got it this way so that I can kind of turn, but it's a little bit slow, really. So it's just the way I've set it. But what you do is you line it up like that, and then you try and see if some point you can get a nice blue dot, which means it's safe to land. Okay, there's a bit there, but yeah, it's always kind of swapping between two things. So. So what you got to do is pull this up, look, turn that like so it tells you which direction to do. It tells me to go down, like so. Alright, now we've got the line. So, it's a little bit tricky trying to land this thing, as, you got to do all this. This is far too long. It should be a little bit simpler than this. So it's quite time consuming to do this. That's the trouble with Elite. It takes so long to do everything in the game. It really does take forever to do stuff. Okay, and then you go down to here. Alright, so that's that. But again, I can switch to these different modes. We can zoom in or zoom out. If you do right stick, you'll click and you can zoom in and out. Alright, it gives you a certain amount of flexibility. You can adjust the blur by doing this. You can I'm trying to think how you do it now. Oh yeah, I think you do it like this. So if I turn this right off, and you got to hold it and it gets faster and faster. So as you turn this off, you'll see it gets worse. And if I turn it back up again, you could go full focus so that you can see the distance as well. Okay, so you could do it like that. so you get a kind of depth of field. Okay, so you can see the back end. It takes a little while to do that without any trouble. Alright, so everything you do in this game is very, very slow at adjusting things, exploring, moving around. It's just a little bit of a... It's just too grindy. It's too slow at everything it does. Alright, so then we got that one. So if I click it again, I can just do these different modes. Again, we can kind of zoom in. At least I think we can zoom in. That's the wrong one. Yeah. So you can do all this, you know, swing it around, all this kind of stuff. So it's all cool stuff. You know, I must admit it's quite nice, cool stuff. This. Click it again, and then you can go over to here. And here, and here. So some nice inside views of the ship. Okay, and then we get rid of that. Okay, so that's what it's like. And if we go into our scarab, we can deploy it. Short loading screen, which must admit is really quite short now. But that's because it's on Series X. Okay, we have the handbrake on, so if I can turn this handbrake off, I think, but I don't remember which button it is. Because there's all kinds of buttons, so the idea is if you press all the different buttons, you should get one of them to come on. Right, how do I get the handbrake? Oh, like that. Okay, just the back button. Okay, and then we can kind of... You must have room to get in the ship, but this is how you'd expect Europa to be, you know, it's full of, you know, icy world. It's kind of, you know, based on the real thing, so it's gonna, you know, look really good. So let me just go to the outside camera, do this. Yeah, why it starts off like that I'll never know, because why don't you just do it so that it's behind the craft? I always find this a bit odd. You've got to like line up. You've got to line up with the craft. You know, this is, you know, why don't you just lock it in behind and then give us options so that we don't have to fiddle about with this every time I want to see it in third person. Alright, and then we, you know, kind of go up a bit. So say, you know, like that. So I've got to kind of line it up, which I think is the kind of first person view, and then unclick it to be able to, you know, carry on. So it's just a little bit cumbersome. And so there you go. So this is kind of what you'd expect, you know, great vast hills, you know, it's not flat, there's dips, there's crevices, all that kind of stuff, you know, that's it. Okay, all right, so that's that. So I'm going to quit there, all right, and we're going to change straight to Starfield. Hopefully I can, it's not actually on my hotbar there, so I don't know if this will actually, it might be okay. I'll try and quickly switch to it. I hope you enjoy this. You know, I'm not, you know, I've kind of gone off of it now. All right, but let's do the same thing. So let's continue with Alice Crush, who is on Europa at the moment. Okay, so you see a difference in loading times. These are special space screens that I've got, not the official ones that's in the game. These are like additions, kind of sci-fi kind of screenshots from all different sources. Okay, so you know, we come to Starfield, and yes, it's a lot better. Because first of all, I can walk around on the planet. It does still kind of have that same kind of feel, you know, with kind of mountains and stuff, but I don't know, it looks a little bit different, and obviously these stone structures just don't seem right to me. You know, I can't, you know, this is just rocks placed on a flat world basically, so it's not great. But you know, it has bases, all that kind of thing on, so it's kind of in the future. You know, there's a place over here I can kind of run, I can do a jump. I'm in a very early part of the game, so I haven't even got a jetpack yet, so Alright, so we go up here. And yes, the creation engine, you know, is looking a lot better. You know, visually, it is really looking good. But you know, it's a bit laggy. So this isn't bad. You know, it's not bad. You know, some crevices. It's not a bad representation, I suppose, compared to Elite Dangerous. So it's not bad. It's just that it's got lots of these kind of things in the distance. I've made the UI smaller, so this is like, you know, you can tell it to have larger UI or smaller. So I've gone back to the small size, but as you can see again, this huge circle here. You know, they could have just had a No Man's Sky type thing which highlights stuff in the distance, as opposed to this massive area, which is for showing surface stuff. But you could still have shown that surface stuff without a massive circle. And what you should have done is, this thing's a survey, the resources, you should have pushed all that to the corners so that it was out of the way. So that we didn't have a whole screen cluttered by this gigantic circle and this, you know, thing to our, you know, just behind our body there, survey resources. Why are you not pushing that to the far end? You know, so that it's just less cluttered. Move everything into the corners, to the edges of the map, so that we can see a bigger amount of the map. Now, if you go to the surface map, yeah, it looks like this, and every planet you go to is going to look like this. There's no change the angle, so all you have is a rotate. So this is tacked on after the vast outrage of people saying, you know, we haven't got a surface map, but you know, they're trying to get out the door as fast as possible these days. And the reason why they don't want you to tilt it is because they want you to see that this is a flat plane and it has no curves. It's just with the usual Bethesda limited functionality on maps, you know, where you can't even pull away. I mean, you can, because you can like do that and then do that, but you can't go into like a planetary view. I mean, what? I say you can't do that, but you can, but you know, very complicated UI. So you can go to this. This goes from the surface map, then you can go back. So this is not a bad representation. It does show the kind of cracks and things, but I'll tell you what. Let's head to, say, that huge crack there. All right. Now, the weird bit is we could walk there. So let's try walking there. All right. We can press and hold to get out of this. Very complicated UI. Now, I'm just trying to work out which marker I'm supposed to be going to, because that's my biggest issue, is where is that marker I just did? Because I got to press this button first of all to get this up, then press this button to do a surface thing, then I've got to go to my character. Okay, so there's a lot of pushing of buttons here. Where is my marker that I put down? Yeah, so it's basic stuff like, where's my marker I just put down? Is it there? So I am finding it very difficult to find basic stuff in this. It's not showing very well. It just does everything in a crappy way. It really does show everything in a really bad way. It's just loading screen, tons and tons of button presses just to do basic stuff. So let's travel there. So, you know, you travel, loading screen.
Funny how people
You go
complain
into
about
space,
wearing their
loading
suits
screen,
on
and
field
you could do that when
expeditions.
you're halfway
To me,
across
it's like
this
a second
planet,
skin.
and you know the ship is here. But you know, you could go over here and say, oh, I want to go over to that bit there, you know. Let's try and find that spot where I put on my, because that's what I'm having trouble with, is seeing my markers, for goodness sake. It's like I put a marker here. Alright. You know, where is that? That's my biggest issue. Is basic navigation. Like, oh, I want to set a point and I want to head to it. It's like, where is it? So yeah, this is my big issue. Is it just doesn't do everything very well. It's just super complicated to do basic stuff. So where's these so-called cracks that I'm heading to? But yeah, I suppose comparing the two, it's not bad. This has obviously got just loads of rocks. It's literally a flat world, just like Elite Dangerous. But although Elite Dangerous is curved, because first of all, if you notice the distance, it's all flat. There's no curvature whatsoever. Okay, so that's a sort of hint that this is flat world with just a few bumps on it. So in other words, they've just terraformed a little bit, and then they just clumped loads of stuff on. So that's why it totally does not match the surface. You know, this should be ice blocks or something, but it's stone, which doesn't look right on an icy world, does it? You know, so you know, these little kind of stones here are kind of representative of what, say, on the Elite Dangerous one, but you know, these kind of outgrowths, a little bit odd. But again, you know, I still don't know where that crack is that I did. So it's basic navigation in this. You know, it wants me to find this particular thing. I can't see where I am. So I'll do a surface map, alright? And I want to find that crack thing. Where on here is that crack? But why would you pick white for this? Yes, it should be kind of icy blue or whatever. And it should match each one. So I can't see any sign of a crack here. But you would have thought it would be easy just to land here. I went right where this crack is. So I'll go there and see if there's a crack. Basic stuff like that in Elite Dangerous, there's a huge crack. Then you can land and look at the huge crack. But we're supposedly right on top of this and I can't see a crack anywhere. So it's not really very representative, is it? Again, I'll call this up, so you've got to do one button press, another button press, and yeah, you know, where is this crack? It's so white I can barely make out any detail at all. You know, it could be this line here. Oh, I don't know. So which one of those marks is it? I'll take it. It's like I've marked it, but I don't know where is this one or the one behind. I think it's this one. So if I head towards here. See what I mean? It's like a basic thing like this. Why I bought this, I'll never know. I must have been completely stupid. It just promised so much, overhyped it so much. And then it severely let us down due to how boring it is. It just takes forever to do basic stuff in this. So, you know, this is a so-called crack. I don't see any kind of crack. This looks totally out of place, this rock, with the rest of everything. Alright, so anyway, that's that. And the kind of ridiculous thing about all this is we could go to this star map. That's 2 button presses. Alright, I can go to a ship. Okay. Alright, so I can go to the ship. Fast
Ready
travel
to lift
to
off
it.
when you are,
So
Captain.
you're getting loads of script. I know you can walk to it. Then I got to take off. And you know, and you don't get a, you don't get to fly out. You just get this cutscene. Which, you know, for a space game, you know, you have to have flight. Otherwise, what's the point? And then when you come out here to this planet, okay, yeah, it's actually completely flat.
Hey, contact Charlie 3.
So you try flying towards it, you will never get anywhere near it.
I got some information for you. Please, acknowledge. Oh, spacers have overrun Altair.
I'm not sure what's going on here, but yeah, I hate this UI. It is so fiddly. Oh, Jesus Christ! It's like basic stuff in this is it's just so sluggish. It's like really. It's just tacked on nonsense. Doesn't make a lot of sense, to be honest. It's just slow and sluggish the whole time. It's not responsive in any way. It's just slow. I know, obviously, you know, it'll get better later on, but it's just got a ridiculous choice of buttons too to actually do this. I'm struggling because, you know, I'm usually already inverted, so I'm really struggling with keeping that thing in the middle. Because it's like the right button instead of the left. It's kind of odd, so it's odd trying to outmaneuver this thing on this sluggish ship that I have. So it's really slow, really ponderous. It's just not very good fun, to be honest. Who designed this? If you've never done a space game before and you wonder why we have, you know, we're all saying how bad it is, because it, as you can see, it shows you've never done a space game before. You haven't done your homework. You haven't looked at other space games and seen what was good in that and tried to do that. You've made all the worst decisions that you could possibly make. And after destroying this whole thing, okay? So you should destroy this whole thing and then you kind of slow down to approach it. So this is how ponderous it is. So when you get quite close, you know, you can click on it and then you can do it all. And you've got, you know, there isn't a take all button. You've got to click every single one. All right. Okay. So that's that done. All right. So now let's go to another planet. Right. You think it'd be simple? I'll just fly there. No. No, you don't get to do that in this game, unfortunately. So to do it, you press one button. Then you press the second button, then you press it again to get to this one, then you get to say, that's Earth, that should be Mercury. So let's go to Mercury. So we click on it, then we have this maybe set a landing area, which is this one already there, and we could just click on this and land there. So no flying in between, you know, nothing like that. In some ways you'll say, oh great, that cuts out a lot of the boring bit, but the only trouble is that's a little bit too simplistic. So, you know, it's not a bad representation of what we just saw. You know, but you can clearly see that, again, you know, it's kind of icy surface, although it doesn't look that icy. Compared to that, just looks odd. You know, splattering a few things around here doesn't look right. On No Man's Sky, it looks far superior in every way. So probably the most exciting thing you can do is you know, you could like go up here. I can't jump very high, so. It might take a bit to get up here, but you know, you could kind of theoretically get up here, but it might take a bit of doing because I haven't got a jetpack yet. So I don't know if there's anything I can get onto here that would aid me in getting up. So I'll try getting onto this little bit here. No, so I can get up there. So you know, I could like show you that. I can go to a further view. But it's not bad. I must admit, it's not too bad. But you know, there isn't an Earth equivalent in No Man's Sky. But my God, does it make scanning, finding stuff dead easy in it, and you don't have to walk miles and miles. You know, there's a spot over there. You got to turn this on to highlight these things. click on it to mark towards it, you know, and then kind of run. It's pretty boring. There is a transport vehicle, but that is fiddly to manage. It's just not as responsive as, say, No Man's Sky or Elite Dangerous, which it isn't bad. So they didn't learn from Elite Dangerous, and they didn't learn from No Man's Sky or any other space game. They just stitched a load of loading screens together and called it a space game, which is very disappointing. You know, at least put the effort in to make it look as though it is a proper space game, and have the things that the other ones can do, like flying around, going from the planet to orbit and back again, you know. You know, come on. You know, this is a bit pathetic. I do like the parkour bit. That's probably the best thing in it. And it's literally, they just have a set amount of things they can place. And literally, when you land and you set you set the thing you want to go to, you know, it will just generate new stuff. And every time you land, it's going to be somewhere different. What about you? But you know, when you've done something, you could put a base thing down. So you can do base building, and that will obviously stay there. But still, the markers were going to change every time you come back. Unless, of course, I've got that wrong. But from what I've heard. Now, as you can see, trying to find some resources here, nothing is showing up. There is this area here, which is aluminium, so if you set up a thing which drills into the thing, you can get that. But there's a spacer there. So let's get our weapon out. But to get the weapon out, you've got to do this just to get the weapon out. It's a little bit ridiculous, isn't it? So there's a spacer there. Not sure if I can... but basically you go from place to place, and when you go to these places, there'll be enemies. You shoot them, you take the loot, and then that's it. And that's literally the whole game. Is all about going here, going there, doing this. It's pretty dull, really. It's just Fallout in space, but it's worse than space. Because oh, actually, let me just do this one again. Let me do favourites. Put it on, say, here. Alright. So hopefully that'll work. But look how many button presses I've got to do to get out of it.
You have no idea what you're up against.
So we can do this one, you know, that'll destroy him fairly quickly. Hopefully, although you got to wait for the load, of course. Yeah, you get things like that, which is, you know, getting hit by a giant, you know, you can, you know, this is their equivalent on Starfield. Which is cool, good laugh. And he bounces and goes back up because obviously there's gravity. So yeah, that's not bad. Must admit that's not bad. But see enemies, you know, you have to highlight it like this. Why can't we just highlight it? You know, mark these things without having to shove this thing on.
My eyes! Damn it!
Obviously, hitting him in the head's going to do more good. He's got a load as well, which is nice. Gives me time to destroy him. So I don't know, I just have a little go on this. But you know, to find out if there's anything worth nicking, you know, you've got to put this huge thing on. You know, and I can't open the door, of course, until I put that away. So it kind of makes a lot of sense, all this stuff. It really doesn't. Give in?
Well, I suppose they're not going to need it anymore.
Oh, excuse me, sir, but you know. Oh, I may have died there. Is there any way I can get out of this? Yeah, I always forget that I am at the beginning of the game, so I'm taking on a little bit more than I can choo-choo. Oh, you actually save it there, excellent. Okay, anyway, that's Elite Dangerous, you know. It's a little bit of fun-ish. So let's put that there. This time I'll do a save. It's a very quick go, shall we? Press it again. Quick save. You know, it takes that long.
This place ain't for the likes of you.
Sorry, missus. But it's basically go where, shoot at, go where, shoot at.
Nobody's gonna miss
Oh,
you.
trust that. No, don't do it, son. Don't do it. Don't throw that grenade. There's another one somewhere. Jess, she likes to go in and smash them in the face, you know, and then shoot them. It's pretty effective, isn't it? Right, there's another one.
Damn it! That's it.
Oh God, will you load for goodness sake? Slow loading in it, Christ.
I'm going to
Where'd he go?
end you.
I don't know where he went.
If you're searching, then
I'll pick
make
this
it
up.
quick.
I'll pick all this up. No idea where he is, to be honest. I didn't really pick it all up, you know. I'm kind of funny like that. Right, so I don't actually know where it is. I presume it's around here somewhere. That one got there, can I? Right, okay, then I'll take a mid-pack thing. I'll try and head towards where this person is, which I can't tell whether it's outside or inside, to be honest, but she may have got it. But, you know, the kind of ridiculous side of this whole game is this. And she's absolutely fine with that. You know, I don't know about you, but that smells of atrocious.
All you had to do was ask.
Command is literally select it
Piece
and
of
just let it
cake.
go there. That's it, that's the only command you get. But, having said that, you know, you can, oh dear, how do I talk to her again? Yeah, it's kind of, you know, just do basic stuff like, you know, I want to talk to her.
Hey, I need you to listen to me.
Look how long that
Members
took
of Constellation
me.
are held to the highest regard, yet you persist on making poor decisions that reflect badly upon us.
Oh, you did react then?
Because you're bending over backwards to help me right now, I'll
Yeah, I am
stick
bending
by
over.
your side. But know that I don't approve of this behaviour one bit.
Oh, well, sorry, but my name's Alice Crush. I've got a little bit of a problem, you know, in,
Sidonia is
you
an
know, getting on
industrial
with
town.
people.
Dropping off a few choice items?
You don't mind carrying stuff? Do you mind if I call you Lydia? So, you know, I changed some of my inventory, and, you know, I may have too many weapons now. I mean, any of these any good? I mean, some of them are not that good. I mean, that's a modified one. Is that any better than a... I'll tell you what, that's a legendary weapon there. Did you have that? I got an access as a last resort. So I'll tell you what, you can have that one. Now come out of that. I don't think I've got anything here. Resources, have I got any resources? You can have the resources. Right,
Yeah.
okay, well,
Whatever.
thank you, Sarah, but, so, yeah, it's not bad, you know, it's kind of alright, but, you know, it's basically, they plop something down, you explore it, and then that's it, and then you move on to the next one, You know, there is RPG stuff, chat to somebody, help somebody out, but it's still the same thing. Go somewhere, get something. I know RPG is all about that, but I don't know, it's the constant loading screens is what kills it. There's just too many of them. Right, okay, so thank you very much for watching. But you know, I hope you know if you did enjoy it. Well, you know, a little bit surprised at it, but basically, you know, you go into all these things. So you know, go to the ship. You know, you can look at the ship. Yeah, this is cool. This is probably the best part of the game. Is this? But again, the UI is absolutely exceptional because you could do like I don't know cargo hold. Oh, I don't know what that is. But yeah, you got to kind of. But look at laggy. It might be because I got mods. I must admit, I don't think it was normally a little bit laggy like this. I think it's because I put mods in. I mean, I'll put them in the right order. But yeah, you kind of inspect it by doing this. But it's not too bad, and you can pull things off. Although I don't think we've got far enough in the game that we can. You know, this has been unlocked yet. I think that's on shipbuilder mode. Okay, so thank you for watching. But you can see the difference between Elite Dangerous and this. At least that you can fly down to the planet, come all the way back, go to another planet, land, you know, do all that. You know, with this you just press button to go through loading screens, and to do everything in this is all about loading screens. So it's pretty darn boring. Alright, and you know, you go here and you go to your thing here, you do your surface map. You go here and you can just literally press a button and go there. You know, what's the point of exploration if you just press a button and go somewhere all the time? Time to get this ship moving. Alright, so... okay, so I suppose there wasn't a huge amount of difference in how it looked. I must admit, there wasn't a huge difference between the two. You know, except that one's flat and one definitely has a curvature on it. This one isn't, it's just a flat piece of land. So I'll see you all next time.
Always
Thanks
a
for
pleasure,
watching.
Captain.
I'll see you later. Bye everyone, and have a good rest of the week.